Hello, my brothers and sisters on the Dragon's Path. My name is Tim Heijen and I believe in dragons. Um, a time ago, I said that I didn't read any books, but actually, I lied a bit because I found something back. I found something back that was a very good tool for me, something that I used to actually read. And it's also the reason why I know a lot about dragons, because this book was actually intriguing me. And I'm not a reader of, I don't like to read books that much, but this was a book that really helped me a lot to know a lot about the history of dragons and what humans thought dragons were, and all about history, all about the world, and everything that you need to know about dragons. Not in a magical way, not in a Wiccan way, not in a witchy way, but just dragons in the eyes of humans and throughout history. This book here about Carl Sugar, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was translated into my language, and I said, "Wow, that this is a very beautiful cover. Maybe there is something interesting in it." And yeah, very interesting, because these illustrated everything that there is to know about the history of dragons, and there is a large history that is all together all together in one book. So everywhere in the world, there was something that you can say about dragons. Everywhere there were dragons. Not immediately the dragons that you now know as the Western dragons that most of the time occur here in Europe, but it was everywhere in the world where serpents and draconic creatures and lindworms and everything that was draconic, even the dragon gods. And so yeah, like I said, everywhere in the world there was something to say about dragons. Um, but not just the dragons that you used to know. Like I said, um, like for example, that was a lot of, like Leviathan here. That is a very good one. Everything you need to know about Leviathan, that is the dragon god, you can say, and everything you need to know about um, how humans back in the day and now see and look at Leviathan are actually gods of the waters, and how they are maybe seen as a last dinosaur, or maybe as a real true dragon that stands alone. That is also a very good one, half dragons, and of course the death of Fafnir and Siegfried who killed him, also a dragon god, and everything that remained of him, and of course also the religious point of view to the dragons, also very interesting. That was also um, when I'm actually, oh, that's Babylonia, also a very good, interesting story. And if I can share a story with you, and I'm going back actually, I hope I can find it. Oh, Quetzalcoatl, also a dragon god. Maybe I can find it back. Ah, yes. Very interesting story about a little dragon in Babylonia. Um, let's see. There was a little dragon that was found in Babylonia, just in the time when the religion of before Christianity, it was Judaism. When this religion just it was rising, and they need to uh, say to the people that they need to believe in something like that, like in the Abrahamic religions. That was actually the dawn of the Abrahamic religions. But back in the day, when the dawn of the Abrahamic religions occurred, there was a story about a Babylonian god, a little god, and it was said to be a small little dragon that was actually worshipped. It was worshipped by the people from Babylonia. Babylonia is beneath and next to Turkey. It's an Asian way. It was before the continental drift, and so the continents were still together. And back in the day, these people had an entrance, the entrance called Ishtar, and this entrance was signed and decorated with bulls, lions, and dragons, because, of course, in Babylonia it was Tiamat who gave birth to the serpents and the dragons, and they believed that they finally have seen a son of Tiamat. And they bowed for him, they kneeled for him, for this dragon. But there was a guy, he was from this new religion, but nobody knows where this guy came from, of course. But they all thought he was from Babylonia, so it's okay. And he was actually a follower of this Abrahamic religion that actually didn't like it. And the thing that he did was he approached this dragon that they all worshipped in Babylonia, and he took his neck and strangled the dragon. Strangled him with his cold hands. It's just horrible. And then when the dragon dropped dead, he turned around to the people who were still kneeling and were actually very surprised that he did that. They were actually very angry with this. He said, "You see, this is not a god, this is just another being. He can die. That is not a god. A god doesn't die." His name was Daniel. So everyone, if you go to the Church of Daniel, that is where he came from. Saint Daniel, the first slayer of dragons. Yeah, okay. But what they actually didn't actually know, all of them actually didn't know, is that they just did the same to Daniel, what he did to the dragon. So he didn't live very long after that. And I can understand that, of course, because that was not the point. What is the point of that? What is the point of slaying a divine being for someone else? That is just horrible, even back in the day. So they just did the same with him, actually, but they didn't say this in the Bible. But it, according to the mythology, they did that, of course. What would you do if someone killed something you love so much? So yeah, that is actually one of the many stories of Babylonia. Babylonia has a lot of stories, but this was the only one where a live dragon was actually in front of all of Babylonian people, that they could worship as the son of Tiamat, the direct son of Tiamat. Tiamat, of course, was the goddess of Babylonia that was worshipped by everyone, almost everyone. And she now is seen as the one who lives on, the one who gave birth. She was actually the one responsible for life. And so there are actually many stories. But that was actually just a story. Nothing that can be said it's true, but there are a lot of things that can prove it's true. It's true, of course. But most of the time, things like that is just a story. But it's actually more the perspective that from humans now, from scientists, that I found intriguing about this book. It's not just the stories that we have to follow blindly. No, it's also the perspectives of scientists, of that we can actually. This is a faith and spirituality that can go hand in hand with science. For example, the early days of humanity. Way before that. Let's just way before humanity. It were the dinosaurs that ruled the earth, dinosaurs and large serpents. So, of course, the dragon looks a lot like serpents and dinosaurs. So they had this theory that these legends, so-called legends, and stories can be very much true. Like I said before, with the story of the little dragon of Babylonia. this could have been true. This could have been the person, the very first and maybe only person who could have killed a dinosaur-like being that still survived, but didn't survive humanity. Could be that the dragon is a descendant from dinosaurs. Actually, I believe that the dragon actually is a descendant of dinosaurs, and the dinosaurs are actually the one who were born out of Tiamat and all of these first dragons, and these were evolved beings. It could be very well true. What is so strange about this story? Of course, it's nothing strange. It makes sense. It's logical. You can see things hand in hand with just in the Bible. You cannot see this. You cannot see the Bible going hand in hand with science, because all of these stories are just too impossible. But these stories about giant serpents and dragons, because of the dinosaurs, that is not that illogical. It can be true. And I feel it can be true, because I feel the dragon very, very much. I feel their spirit and their presence still every day. So there is a lot that can be said about the dragons, the serpents of Wales, neo-dragons. That is also a very good one. Yeah, but like I said, I'm going to read a bit from this book in following videos. And I hope it can be interesting to read to you from this. Of course, this is Dutch. I have to translate this, but I don't think that can be a problem. So my brothers and sisters, be blessed.